Hello everyone, it's Sean from Having Fun Repairs, and thank you for coming back to my channel. Today, if you can't tell by this case, we've got a Nintendo Switch to work on. Now, there was a bit of a story given to me about some screws that came out of the side and a Joy-Con that no longer attaches. So, we're going to open up this case and take a look at what's going on with this console and see what we can do to repair it. So I feel I should probably clarify something for a second. The actual story was relayed from child to parent, and then the parent took a good look at the console and gave a bit of a chuckle and then relayed the story to me. But that's okay. Well, we can automatically see, just opening up, what we're potentially getting ourselves into. We're missing an entire side, sliding rail, connector for this Joy-Con. Let me pull out the other side. We'll do a comparison. Alright. So on one side you should have 5 screws. When you look down in here, at the very bottom down there, I know it's going to be hard for you to see on this camera. Let's see. Can I get a light over here somehow? Yeah. I don't think this is going to work with that light, but well, we'll just zoom in. How about that? Might be hard to see, but when you look down into here, you do have some pins. So that way when the Joy-Con is slid on, they can connect and communicate with the console and also be charged by it. This side is missing all that, so that's got me wondering, even though I'm missing this metal bracket here, and that connector is not there, do I have any internal damage? With the console as well. Alright. Other than that, I mean, it's primarily cosmetic. You can see that these screws were essentially, I hate to put it this way, they were pried out. I mean, if you peer down into the inside, again, probably going to be a bit hard for you know to see unless if I adjust things a little bit better. Let's zoom in. Where they should be retained is completely broken. So I suspect that either the Joy-Con was jammed, the button release was not releasing it, and potentially, if you look here, you can see that the over molding, this clamshell, is pried upwards right here on this edge. You can definitely tell that it is not flush. Not a big deal. So if I was a guessing man, I would say that because it wouldn't release, it was pried off. But that being said, we need tests to see the Joy-Cons are still functional. So we're on a low battery, but it should be alright. Oh, that controller is able to sync. And so is this one here. Let me zoom out for a second. Okay. So let's go over to settings. Controllers and sensors. Calibrate our sticks. Now I'm not going to really calibrate them, but I'm going to run through the motion. Do they snap back to center? Yep, that one sure does. Let's try the other one. Hey, There we go, full range of motion, snap back to center. I don't see any drifting. So that's good. Let's see what else we got. Test input devices. Test controller buttons. Here we go. Left stick, right stick, up, right, down, left, X, A, B, Y, minus, plus, left trigger, right trigger, ZL, ZR, SL, SL on the other controller, SR, SR on the other controller. So it appears that everything is in good standing order. That's good. This is going to be a pretty simple resolution. We'll get that clamshell back together the way it should be. We'll get all that cleaned up. But in the next step, we got to assess just how much damage is in here, and then what we can do to salvage anything internal that's broken, and then hopefully source some parts and get this repaired. Okay, well let's talk over some things here. All right, took me a minute to get in. It's been a while since I've been inside a Nintendo Switch. Made myself a little card to retain all the screws that I've taken out and exactly where they go. That's just something I do because it makes life easier for me. Okay, on to the Nintendo Switch itself. Well, luckily, the right Joy-Con rail, when it was ripped out, let me zoom in just a bit. When it was ripped out, we still have the ribbon cable, a portion of it inside the console. I'll throw a picture probably up in the corner somewhere so y'all can see this better, but that's good. So it doesn't look like the connector's damaged, which is also extremely good. It means that this is salvageable, at least from what I'm currently seeing. Now, so a new rail should suffice. Now, off camera, I tested 3 of these holes with the screws that came with the machine, and I tested all 5 of them, but I didn't even bother with that one, to be honest. But this one, and this one are still serviceable and can be used. So we can at least get 3 more screws in back into here. Now, the first option I'm going to give them is a new replacement Joy-Con rail. Comes with ribbon cable and sensor, etc. It's no big deal. Now, if he wants to fully repair this thing, then we've got 2 options. Okay, we either replace the chassis. Okay, I believe this is the mid-sub frame that has this metal piece in here. In order to have these 2 additional screws, Or option two, we can just leave them out. Obviously, the rail is not going to be retained in the same fashion as it would be from the OEM. So that could be a concern. Or option three is I can attempt to use a metal filler and just to fill in these gaps, and then kind of use a tap or a very small drill bit on my Dremel to provide an opening, and then we could most likely self-tap with replacement screws to get those functional. Now, do I think that is, do I personally feel that that would be successful? I mean, maybe. Would it be as good as a fix as replacing the subframe? Absolutely not. Do I think there's any more risk to putting metal filler and attempting to self-tap versus leaving the screws out? Me personally, no. I don't think there's an additional risk there. It's all about the individual's level of comfort in the repair, so I will give them those options and show them some pictures. But, oh, and some replacement screws, because I do not have the screws for this side over here. No big deal. But that's essentially it. So I'm going to need to get with the parent, annotate what we found, and offer the suggestions on how to repair, and then we'll proceed from there. Now, personally, no matter what the way they want to go with this repair, I'm still going to buy a subframe, or sorry, a mid-frame. I think the earliest I could get one in is about a month from now. Joy-Con rails, I'll get those in relatively soon, within days. Same thing with the screws. We'll get those within days. So that's no big deal. But the mid-frame would definitely take a while to get in. At least with the who I'm going with for mid-frame. Now, like I said, I'm going to order them anyways just so I can have them in stock in case something like this comes up again. So I'll be out of pocket on anything. I'll say the customer is going to pay for the repair. I'm doing this as a favor. I typically don't do that kind of thing. But you know, it's all up to what they want to do, and if they want to choose to include the mid-frame, then that's completely up to them, and I'll do it. If not, then I've got a spare part that I keep that, you know, it's going to take about a month to get in regardless, but I've got a spare mid-frame that I can keep in stock, so in case I run into something like this again, hey, I got a spare mid-frame. And I'll probably go ahead and buy 2 sets left and right, even though I'll just replace the right. Now I know I'm pointing left to you all, but it's because it's upside down. But you know, that would give me a few spares that I can keep in stock as well. Yeah, no big deal. Console is pretty much in good shape. Thermal grease or thermal compound is still a bit tacky. I mean, I can clean it off and apply new, but you know, it doesn't appear to be in bad shape, so I'm not too concerned about that. Anyways, yeah, we'll proceed on once I know what the customer would like to do. So when we come back, it'll probably be well, however many days till then. Well, the customer came back with their decision. Gave them 3 options. The first one is the option he went with. So we'll be replacing the right Joy-Con rail and a few of the screws. Now we'll put a tad touch of Permatex thread locker on the screws, the 3 screws that we'll use in here. this thread locker orange. It's going to give enough bond strength to where the screws won't back out. Now, like I said, I tested 3 of the screws myself. They seem to be going in just fine, but we are talking about a damaged console, a damaged mid-frame. So there is likelihood, or I think feel greater likelihood, that those screws can get loose over time. The orange thread locker will prevent them from sliding out, but it's not so strong that you can't break away the screw once it's in there. So it's a good thread locker to use on small objects like this, in my opinion. Somebody disagrees, and you can go ahead and put your comments down in the comment section, and I'll listen to them. But that is my opinion. He refrained from going with a mid-frame replacement, which is perfectly fine. It would have been probably about a month before I'd get that mid-frame in regardless. I bought one myself anyways, just so I can keep it in stock in case I had to tackle this again. Also offered to put a metal filler inside the broken mid-frame assembly where the screws will not be able to go back into, and then tapping and replacing those screws. And he opted not for that. So that was kind of like well, if you don't want the mid-frame replaced, this is another option. Again, the intent was to give something that's going to give some strength to this and hopefully a longer repair. But customers are always, the good thing about options is it gives the customers the ability to assess what they want and understand the risks of those determinations. This customer chose to forego mid-frame, forego metal filler, and will instead just be putting in this right Joy-Con rail and those 3 screws. So for the remainder of this video, that's what we're going to do. And I went ahead and took this Joy-Con and fixed it off camera. You know, not much to it. It's just a little bent out of shape up there at the top, but got that taken care of. So without further ado, let's get everything put together and finish out this repair. Okay, so we got it back together. Console's almost dead. Still haven't charged it, but that sliding rail fully connected. See if we can get see if we can get this side to connect as well. Oh, let's charge this up for a bit and see that the battery charges and the controllers charge while connected, and we can call this one done. Battery low. Yeah, let's charge this up and then we'll close out the video. Well, we've got this got the device up on the charger for a bit, so we'll see if everything charged up, and then we'll call it good to go. There we go. Yep, all three, well, middle's the main console, but the controller's definitely charged. Okay, and they stay still in sync. So, say we're good to go, and we'll give it back to its owner. Well, that's going to be everything for this video, this repair. I realize a bit of a boring one, but regardless of that, there's going to be a parent and obviously a kid who's going to be very happy that they have their console restored. Anyways, if you're enjoying the content on my channel, highly encourage you to subscribe. I know I would appreciate it. And if you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And stay tuned on my channel for more repairs and restoration videos. I kind of feel like it's almost Nintendo Power at this point, because I've got a few more Nintendo things that I need to repair coming up, but we'll see how it goes. I'll try to space those out so that way it's not just bombardment of Nintendo this, Nintendo that. But anyways, that's enough rambling for now. Again, thank you for your time. Take care. Goodbye.
Bark?